So the next thing I think which I'd love to talk about is founders need time in the mountain. I've been having all these conversations with my co-founder Rhoda about this, and I thought it would be interesting for one of my videos. And it's a simple concept, but every time I think I've mastered it, apparently I have to come back and get schooled about it. And this is the idea that, for a lot of founders and business owners, we thrive in the doing. We want to be, when things are not happening, we feel like we are failing. And maybe that's because we need a lot of self-discipline in our work, where we don't want to feel like we're comfortable, we are relaxed, we are chilling, and yet we're supposed to be always pushing, always, striving for ourselves and for our team to achieve the next thing. So when the year started this year, I was struggling. I think, well, first of all, I guess coming off of the holidays for me, because of my kids, and holiday time around Christmas is not necessarily a relaxing time for me because I'm on full-on mommy mode and the nanny is away. So maybe that's one. So I don't start out my year feeling like I've had time to relax. And so maybe that's the first lesson. The thing I noticed this year, so when we were supposed to report back to work, I was just feeling exhausted. I was feeling like I haven't even had time to think about my strategy or the things that I need to do. And I had an interesting epiphany, which may sound obvious to you, but I know founders will understand this, is the decision to give myself time off sits with me. Like I said, sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how many of us struggle with even the idea that we can take time off or we can give ourselves permission to take an extra day off. Because like I said, for a lot of us founders and business owners, there's a very tough conflict around feeling like you're not working hard enough for your business versus, taking time away and all that. Like, it's actually not as easy as most of you think for a lot of us business owners and founders to take a day off, right? So I remember it was like the weekend before, like the Friday. I know Mondays I'm supposed to be back, and the level of exhaustion and the level of tired and the energy I had was just like, I can't believe I'm about to start my year like this. And so I was really struggling, and I just remember just realizing that I went back on my calendar and looked at all the series of meetings and things. And that's another thing. My week was starting with a bunch of things that I was supposed to do with other people. And then I thought, this doesn't feel right. Is this the way I want to start my year and my week? And so I remember going in and I pushed everything out. So the Monday that I was supposed to jump into all these meetings and things, essentially a very aggressive back to work, I pushed that to Thursday. I reorganized. Once I did that, it was amazing to me how much, the world did not end. The business did not stall because I did that. In fact, it was better. So I actually asked for support from my management team, from everyone. I kind of told everybody what they need to do so that my delayed sort of extra 2-3 days wouldn't hurt anybody's KPIs, right? And what was I doing in those 3 days? I call it time in the mountains. I went into silence. So it means I also wasn't, again, running around with my kids. I sat still. And when I say sat still, guys, I mean sat still. Like, forget it, I wasn't Netflixing or anything. Like, it was so beautiful. I would take walks, around the estate. I listened to music sometimes. First of all, the day was unplanned, which is unusual for me. I'm such a planner. So it's just allowing the day to flow. But I went into spaces of silence. When I felt the urge to open up my laptop and do something, I resisted it. So I gave myself like 3 strong days of, I call it time in the mountains. A lot of silence, a lot of stillness as much as I can. I played with my kids. Of course, they had gone back to school, but when they'd come home, I'd still do my mommy duties. But by Wednesday, the shift was so immediate in terms of the way I felt on the Friday and on the Wednesday that I was like, wow, this was the right thing to do. I was excited about stuff again. I even had ideas. In fact, my mind opened up in a way that it hadn't, in terms of, this is what we need to do. And so by the time I connected back in now on Thursday and kicked off my day with now my management sessions, my team and everything I needed to do, my productivity was so high that the stuff I was supposed to accomplish that week was accomplished on that Thursday and Friday. In other words, I never had to push off anything. I was so energetic and so excited and in such a good space that I basically still did everything. When you can give yourself that moment. In fact, my co-founder, again, Rhoda, always makes fun. She loves it when I tell her I'm doing time in the mountains, because she says, hey, you always come back fired up, on fire, with ideas. And, because she also sees that my best ideas and my best strategic, inspiration sort of comes in when I've given myself some time of silence. So it's just sharing that. And this is not just for founders, maybe it's for all of you, that we're in a society that has glorified the work hard to the point of exhaustion. Like, we seem to celebrate the idea of overworking and busyness and, working late and whatever, without realizing that the balance is, productivity is the art of working smart. You don't need to work from 6 to 10 at night to actually feel like you're achieving something. In fact, it's counterintuitive. It's counterproductive. When you find a different way to work that's more productive and you can find moments to give yourself time off to refresh, then it'll actually make you better at what you do. Your inspiration will come from that. So that's it. So time in the mountains, it's important.